Hey guys, MetalJesus here, and today I am back with a quick review and kind of impressions of this amazing arcade racing game that is exclusive to the Switch. It's been out for a couple weeks now. It is called Cruis'n Blast, and I've had so many people reach out to me and want to know what I think of this game. Obviously for good reason, because I am known for being a huge fan of arcade racing games, and frankly, it has just been forever since we've had a game quite like this one. And I've played it a ton in the last couple weeks since it came out. And yeah, I've got some thoughts. So right off the bat, let me just say, spoiler alert, I love this game. It's not perfect, but I do really love this game. It is a shot of fresh air, a shot of adrenaline, you know. It's just, we don't get very many of these kind of games anymore. Yeah, there's been a couple here and there, but man, this one is just completely over the top and just so much fun all the time. I mean, it never ever lets up. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, this is I guess a port, or kind of a, I don't know, maybe even a reimagining of the arcade game that came out about 5 years ago. And I have to apologize, actually, I've never played the original arcade game. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it just wasn't in an arcade when I saw this. I mean, admittedly, I don't go to arcades that much anymore, but man, you know, talk about missing out on a great game here. Now, obviously, it's based on a franchise that is going to be familiar with a lot of people. Obviously, the Cruis'n series, you know, Cruis'n USA. I think for me, really, when I think of Cruis'n, I think of the N64, because I think there was, what, like 3 Cruis'n games on the N64, something like that. But again, this is just, wow, this is like next level stuff here. This is craziness. First, let's get to kind of the stats or the meat of this game. So they advertise that there is about 30 tracks in this game, and I think that is stretching it a little bit. There are a decent amount of tracks in here, but they are including some stuff where you drive them in mirror, you know, kind of reverse. Also, it seems to kind of mix up. I'm trying to figure out if they're counting tracks that they alter a little bit, where they insert, like, say, UFOs and things like that. So they say 30 tracks. I don't necessarily know if that's true or not, but there is a decent amount of tracks here and a decent amount of variety. And then you've got 23 custom rides. Now, I say rides because, well, yes, you've got a bunch of cars in here. You've got a bunch of licensed cars, like from, you know, Corvette and I think GMC and, you know, stuff like that. But then you've got rides, and basically what that means is that you can unlock crazy stuff like a UFO, a helicopter, you can unlock a unicorn, and actually more stuff like that. And I guess that kind of leads into, again, just what I love about this game is that they're not going for realism at all here. They are going for fun. And again, I feel like, man, it's been so long since we've had a game like this. Now let's go ahead and get into the driving and the trick system, because there is actually a lot to talk about here. So first of all, this game really relies on drifting, and I have to say that I like it a lot. So it reminds me of, I guess, probably like the Outrun, you know, 2006 arcade game, the you know, the latest Outrun games, and how easy and precise it is to control drifting. I would say that this game is a pleasure to drift in. It's so nice, and it's not frustrating at all. And then you have this ability to do a wheelie, and you see me doing that all the time here. And basically what you do is you double tap the B button to do that. And essentially what that does is really two things, is that it allows you to attack or drop down on an enemy car and essentially take it out temporarily. But also it'll allow you to do a trick over a jump. And you end up doing that a lot because you obviously want to build up boost. And you know that this game is pretty tough. It's going to give you a lot of challenge. And so you're going to need to do that sort of stuff all the time to even have a chance to even place in a race. Now, there's a little bit more than that as well. For instance, you can actually drift over one of those boost pads, and then that will give you a trick as well. It'll actually spin you out, and Then you can, it also kind of plays a little bit like, say, Burnout, where you're kind of doing road rage a little bit. Well, maybe not a little bit. You actually need to do it a lot in this game, because again, the computer AI, man, it is super aggressive. So you will lose a lot in this game if you don't try to take out the other opponents. And then really, I think one of the highlights of this, and it's obvious when you're looking at this footage here, is just the track design. And here again is where I feel like the developers just, there was no idea that was too crazy for them. I mean, they basically were like, oh yeah, you want huge gorillas in here? Sure, we're gonna do that. Dinosaurs, you want UFOs, you want tornadoes. It doesn't matter, they're gonna just throw everything in here. And that's what makes this game so much fun. The first couple times when you play a new level, you are, well, first of all, you're just barely trying to hang on because it's such a fast game. But then, like, I love how in almost every level, the track will just drop out and you will just fall for what seems like half a mile. And it does this a lot in this game, where it just has these really big moments. And again, it's so much fun. I also like how almost every track has alternate routes, and you're gonna wanna explore those because, as you see as I'm playing it here, in addition to just trying to win the race, you're also trying to find two things that are hidden on the track. One of them is money, and you use money to unlock new rides as well as upgrade current ones. But then also you'll want to find these keys, and these keys are almost always hidden. And you know, depending on the route that you go, you'll find these extra keys. Those keys are used to buy the ability to unlock those other rides. So again, there's a lot going on here, and you know, in a game this fast, it's like I don't think they could have just jammed in even more stuff. It's insanity. So is there any downside to this game? Well, I think there's really two things that people will probably bring up, and one of them I think is fairly legit, and the other one is kind of to your taste. And I'll start with that one. The graphics are really going to be the one, I think. Some people are going to be like, this is not a current gen looking game. And yeah, I would agree, you know. It does look kind of like a 5-year-old arcade game, but I gotta be honest, I don't care. I mean, I think it's actually really fun. I think that they probably held back some of the bells and whistles that you would put in a modern, you know, arcade game, like say, you know, Forza Horizon or something like that, because they wanted to maintain a really fast frame rate. And I think that's very important in a game like this. And so I'm fine with it. Honestly, again, I just want to mention the graphics here because I think that will be, you know, something that might turn off some people. But again, I don't care. I think this game is so fun as is. It doesn't really matter. But the other issue, and I think it's somewhat legit, I certainly ran into it, and I think most people do, and that is the difficulty of this game. Specifically, the kind of artificial difficulty of this game. I mean, it really uses rubber banding AI like nobody's business. I mean, almost every single race, depending on the difficulty, you will win or lose those by 1/10 of a second. I mean, even on the easiest difficulty, you will just barely win races. I mean, it's insane how close these are. And on the higher difficulty levels, man, I mean, again, you will lose races by 1/10 of a second every time. I mean, it's a tough game for sure, but again, because I think it's so much fun, it's really cool to unlock stuff, I keep coming back to it. I mean, it's not a deal breaker by any means. So anyways, guys, that's my initial impressions and review of this awesome arcade racing game on the Nintendo Switch. And I guess at this point, my only hope is that the developer of this doesn't stop here. I mean, I'd love to see a sequel of this coming out for the Nintendo Switch. I think that would be pretty rad. I don't know if it's possible if the developer would be able to bring it to, say, other consoles. That'd be cool. You know, it'd be cool to see this on the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. However, I have heard that Nintendo is, I think they might actually own the IP of this franchise. I don't know, that's what I heard, so maybe that's true. So either way, it's a great game. It's super fun. It's killer. If you have a Nintendo Switch and you like arcade games like this, you gotta pick it up. All right, guys, well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.